I stepped outside Newsroom to do what is like PR, public relations, using my journalistic skills to still tell stories. Some stories are not PR at all. They're just nice story. Nobody will pay me to create content. We have a very vibrant YouTube channel. I can trace a story of, say, a nurse who left Kenya 30 years ago. It's in New Jersey. How was it when you came? I don't have to charge that nurse. They don't have to pay me. It's just a nice, beautiful story. But you own a restaurant, you are running business, then I'm telling you a story. Then we'll negotiate because you are in business, I'm in business, I have to pay bills. When I left, I'm not your typical journalist. So let me begin by what, paying or money, how it can tamper with the truth or objectivity. Yes, if I was in the newsroom the way I was, and then Omosh is a politician, he's competing Ali, Senator Dono Baringo. So and then Omosha wants to influence me, gives me all the negativity about Ali so that Ali can look bad. That is influence, and that's not quite professional. So that's not journalistic. So that's what a scenario in a newsroom. The biggest letdown for Kenyans in the diaspora are their own people, your brother, your sister.
How?
Your friend,
How? Tell us.
So many have been sending money through their relatives or their friends. It may be someone you really trust. You normally have nyama choma with that. Amekupatia idea, tunaweza fanya hii pamoja. Then it just goes haywire. So they divert the money. So that has created fear among Kenyans living abroad. So who do you trust? Even your closest friend. You've had stories of where you send money, unaambiwa nyumba imefika, inaitwa Linton ama
yes, ni Linton, yes. Hapo kabla before you weka the roof.
Yeah. Imebaki mabati sasa tuma.
Yes.
When you go there you find hakuna hiyo nyumba, maybe walianza msingi na ikakwamia hapo. The pictures they are sending you are pictures of some other
next door, yes.
So when I travel around, that's common. Someone will tell you how alikosana na rafiki yake wa karibu sana, ama brother yake. You will be shocked. For example, unakuta, there's another one juzi too in Houston was telling me alikuwa anatuma pesa nyumbani, mama ni mgonjwa, so mama apelekwe hospitali. Unakuta awapeleki mama hospitali, ndugu yako mwenyewe ana divert hizo pesa na ni za mama kwenda hospitali. You find also now mama ambaye, just as an example, another one aliniambia akiwa Japan, mama relative wako anafaa apatange support ya medical support. So mama anatumia ndugu yako mlevi ambaye afanyi bidii, watoto hawasomi, so natumia pesa mama kwa sababu ya roho nzuri ananunulia watoto vitabu, uniform, ajipeleke hospitali. You see the impact. So hiyo ni shida kubwa sana kwa Wakenya wako majuu. That is one. The other one, also, as I had indicated, is changing policies so that you don't understand which tax is for what. For example, for those who may have been investing in filming and production, if you are Maju, you'll realize Kenya Film Classification Board, certain, what I would call them taxes. Patrick is here. What do they call them? My colleague Patrick, the Film Classification Board, license fee. For example, before you go to film, you needed to have gotten authorization, paid this before you go to load or to film. Before you publish, even on YouTube, you'll find our YouTube that we are supposed to pay certain amount as airtime money for YouTube. So certain policies that change without you knowing. So those are some of the challenges Kenyans here go through, tax issues. And when you send money back home to support people, you are running a company. So before you realize there is the levy on house levy for ABCD. Mishahara ya wafanyakazi wako, you'll have to cut this, you have to do this. So shifting policies or changing policies, that's why we get these forums to have people who understand those areas, educate the Kenyans on how to navigate through. the other challenge, of course, is registering companies or beginning a business. Where do you begin bureaucracy? Now, many diasporans have told me they want to do ABCD back home, but they find corruption is a big problem. I met a Kenyan who wanted to work with county governments to install dialysis machines and had people to support to fund him. But then he said whenever he goes, he's being asked, aweke kitu kwa meza kwanza, apate license ya kufanya ABCD, ama license mwingine maybe anahitaji land to do something. There's another one who wanted to start manufacturing some medicines, I think. Weka hii kwanza kwa meza. So hiyo ina deter watu wa majuu in wanting to invest back home. Bureaucracy and then layers you want to see so and so mkubwa mahali, but kuna watu wanakuwekea vikwazo, na ukishaona mkubwa wanakufuata, fanya hivi. So watu wa majuu wengi hawapendi hizo story, shortcuts and so on. So those are some of the highlights, the challenges I would cite. And then in some countries you find the interest rates are low. Like when I was in South Africa, interest rates on mortgages and loans and so on. So they say I would rather buy property land here in South Africa than in Kenya because the loans, the interest rates are very high. That's another challenge. Then another one, which then I would give to the banks. We were gathering this recently. So banks come here, they open accounts. But mnawatafuta for customer care, for follow-up hawako. Their aim was to open so many accounts and go home saying we have 1,000 accounts from New Jersey. But what's the impact of those accounts? Is it just opening an account? What's the value? Is there a follow-up? So after I've opened an account, so what? Customer care, follow-up, and so on. The challenges are quite many. Those are just a few that come to the top of my mind.
Okay, asante sana. Alex, quite a number of comments were coming in while you were speaking. Esther Mulusa is signing in from Kakamega. Karibu sana, Esther Mulusa. And then Alan Dab is watching. Pilot Alan Dab, I don't know whether you're in California or whether you're somewhere in the middle. Watching us while flying.
He owes us a ride to LA.
Yeah, and then Junoburu here from North Carolina says, it be your own family, SMH. And then Nancy Mirosi says, I was asked to pay $100,000 for an acre in Kapsabet. Wow, quite interesting. And then Apa Esther Mulusa anasema, filing taxes is also could also be a hassle. And then Afro-Jamaican Kaiser Soze is saying the banks are another story. Afro-Jamaican has had like his share of experiences with banks. And Alan Dab is tuned in from California. Asante sana Alan Dab. Again, the number to call is 202-683-4570. Press star 5 to speak. Now running Chams Media and running, like a whole media operation that traverses the globe fairly frequently is a costly affair. There is no doubt about that. You have a team of at least 20 full-time employees. You travel to the most exotic corners of this globe just trying to find Kenyans, Alex, which begs the question, who is funding all this? Unajua hii maswali ya pesa lazima pia tuulize. Like who's funding all this? And because I'm thinking there has to be some source of funding you have, be it through sponsorships,
Big brother,
and you have to be making money because you're doing this full time. We're seeing you in different countries fairly frequently. So how do you challenge? How do you deal with all that expense? Pesa imetoka wapi? Hiyo mbesha. Where we also want that money.
Pia si tukule.
Hata pia si tukule kidogo. Alex.
Nakula in kind. Must say your show is very, very popular. Ni Alusa tulisikia na amecomment kutoka Kakamega.
Esther Mulusa, yes.
Yes, Esther Mulusa.
Esther Mulusa is in Kakamega.
Bulai muno, usangarire.
Okay, there you go, Esther Mulusa. I reply in French. Usha salimiwa kwa French.
Alikuwa North Carolina juzi. Kwa hiyo alienda Kakamega.
No, saizi yuko Kakamega. She's in Kakamega.
Alipanda ndege.
Anateleportingi.
Shimalavandu.
Alipanda ndege.
Yeah. All right.
Ni summer time, wako break.
Ako break. Yeah. All right. Alex, talk to us. Iyo mbesha. We also want some of it. Give us the secret.
I'll go to that secret, and I can see it's for 4:41 in Kenya, so Mulusa amejaribu sana ama anaenda shambani. So my story is this. One
Yeah.
is I'm not your typical journalist. So let me begin by what, paying or money, how it can tamper with the truth or objectivity. Yes, if I was in the newsroom the way I was, and then Omosh is a politician, he's competing Ali, Senator Dono Baringo. So and then Omosha wants to influence me, gives me all the negativity about Ali so that Ali can look bad. That is influence, and that's not quite professional. So that's not journalistic. So that's what a scenario in a newsroom. Or I'm doing a business story, then I'm influenced by maybe a business entity to give the wrong facts, to mislead people. That's not professional. It's like a doctor. If a doctor gives you half of a syringe of a dose instead of full, that's not being professional. So you'll kill people. So, but now I stepped outside newsroom to do what is like PR, public relations, using my journalistic skills to still tell stories. Some stories are not PR at all. They're just nice story. Nobody will pay me to create content. We have a very vibrant YouTube channel. I can trace a story of, say, a nurse who left Kenya 30 years ago. Is in New Jersey. How was it when you came? I don't have to charge that nurse. They don't have to pay me. It's just a nice, beautiful story. But you own a restaurant, you are running business, then I'm telling you a story. Then we'll negotiate because you are in business, I'm in business, I have to pay bills. When I left the newsroom, I didn't do what people think that supplying content to be paid by media. You won't even do for a month. You will not sustain. So I stepped out to do a very different model where even when I'm on air, I'm buying airtime. So Daring Abroad series, you will be surprised, it's a commercial time where I pay for it. So how do I get the money to pay to recoup myself? If media were paying me, then it's not sustainable. One, they'll start controlling you. They'll say, hey, you are featuring this Kenyan with a restaurant. This one is PR, we can't run it. Then you start fighting, and you've had those stories. They'll control the commercial and editorial aspects of your show. So you won't grow, you won't be free. You won't tell the story to the fullest. So when you pay airtime, it is your time. So Daring Abroad, then I can commercialize. So I can begin my story by saying, welcome, today we are featuring the people behind One Mic Show in USA. But before I proceed, hey, do you know about this new Samsung phone, the latest? So Samsung have paid me. There is nothing wrong with that. So it's commercial.
Okay.
That Samsung, I'm telling you about Samsung, and Samsung have paid you. Or I do product placement. Kama hiyo kikombe nimeona mmeweka hapo, sijui imeandikwa nini. So I'll have a cap written here, One Mic Show, and you've paid me. So that's commercial, so that I can get revenue to sustain my production and pay for the airtime. But Daring Abroad has since moved online fully. We are not on TV anymore. It runs only on Cham's Media YouTube, because also our partner said they are nowadays getting more value on our YouTube channel than even on that TV where I say they have 2 million viewers, but they have better leads from the online version. But here is the issue, that while I'm featuring you, you are paying me. You won't influence me to give the wrong facts, because I'll do my due diligence. If you have you are selling land, where is it? And there are some we refuse by there. So I don't just feature anyone. So if we feel that you have issues and we land into trouble, it's sometimes not too perfect that you'll avoid 100%, but we don't touch certain people, we don't touch certain businesses. We have a spirit of saying our stories should be professional, inspiring, and factual. So while you come on my show and we've agreed on whatever you are paying me, it doesn't mean you will give me wrong information. I'll do my fact checking and give only what is factual. So that is our model. So how do we even travel? So you could have what we call barter trades. Or you can have an airline that will give you air tickets to a certain destination. Maybe they're opening a new route. So you are that they'll give you a ticket and you do a story. So that's one cost taken off. They are not giving you money. when you land there, you'll find a Kenyan who does Airbnb, maybe it's Malaysia. So it may give you accommodation 2 weeks with your crew, and you feature that person. So that another cost taken off. You'll find another Kenyan who will say, me, I'll take off food. Maybe they do a restaurant. So you can, for me, then you'll find I can live even somewhere for 2 months on barter trades without hard cash. So you come, you want to clobber me, you think of dollars in the pocket. The dollars may not be in the pocket. The dollars are in what I call my social capital. But yes, as I said, we can creatively find now the advertisers to come and support. And we find it, you can sustain if you do, you tap into your networks well. At the end of the day, it's really networks. I keep telling people that I do what a mainstream in media cannot do, go all over the world. It is very expensive. But I have networks that support me to be, while I'm seated there, you see, Iowa are inviting me. You are likely to find that they have said that Fulani will do air ticket, which is quite okay. They want us to network, to tell their story, another one do. So barter trades really help us a lot to answer that question. Others are out of events. So for example, in Australia, our first entry was a conference on energy, and mining is huge in Australia, and there are many Kenyans in the mining sector. So there was a conference, and they invited the CS who was in charge of that. And of course, then they said, we'll get flight tickets for your crew, accommodation, come and cover our mining conference. And remember, it's tapping into daring abroad. So away from the conference, we'll be serializing those Kenyans in the mining sector. So they also want their stories told. So you see, the cost is taken off. And while I'm there, I can gather 10 stories, which when I start running, they run every week. And you find you're able to sustain the show. Finally, to the forums. The forums, we have partners who support. There's a partner who will say, I'll pay for the venue. It's not easy to pull completely and say you are 100% done, but you just find a way of tapping into those networks and really working the cost so well that you are not so exorbitant and you're able to pull it using the networks. And then my speakers, ordinarily you will have to pay speakers because they've done their research, but our speakers are people who want also to share their story. So they come and they say, I'll do pro bono, I'm not gonna charge you. That is how we are sustaining these things. I don't know if I've given you a bit of ideas. And then, yes, so it's not just daring abroad. So we are in content creation. So you'll find certain clients will come to us, like Cooperative Bank of Kenya came to us during COVID to educate people that while the normal economy sources of money is going down, your circle is your sure bet at COVID time to sustain you. So we serialized 50 circles in Kenya, and that series was sponsored by Cooperative Bank. So with concepts, we come up with concepts. I have a team. So why do I sustain? It's not Alex Chamwada. Mnaona Alex Chamwada peke yake, but I have 20 employees who I pay salary, and then I work with well over 20 freelancers. So we may have a project and we don't have enough hands. You'll find I have a freelancer in Nakuru, Kisumu. So that's trickle-down effect. You find freelancers are getting, to support their livelihoods through us. World Bank came to us to showcase the socio-economic impact of the new road. I told you, go to Turkana. Those roads are better than from where you come from, Momo, Shali. Go there. And nobody will tell you. The mainstream media are not telling you. With the street lights, Kakuma, wamama wanauza mboga 24 hours. That's untold story. So World Bank said, we seem not to get publicity from the mainstream media. So there was a budget, and they gave us, supported the production. We quoted, and then they had cash for now publicizing the content. So creatively, we have a business management team that are able to look at businesses, and away from what you know me for. As I'm globetrotting here, daring abroad, we have teams back home doing documentaries for clients, and that also gives us some cash flow. But being a business, I'm not saying it's a bed of roses. We run into challenges like in other businesses. The economic times are up and down. Up and down. So you run sometimes into cash flow problem like any other business. It doesn't mean it's a bed of roses. Compliance, as I said, new things coming in. You have to really be up to speed in terms of complying with the things like even tax filing and so on. And you really have to be quite smart. Otherwise, you can find you are running out of business because you are not complying in certain sectors. You'll be surprised at Chams Media. I've trained most of my guys even in drone photography, where they are certified by the Kenya Civil Aviation Authority. Why you may find World Bank wants to give you a job, but they will require that your photographer has that certificate. Without that certificate, they are not going to give you that job. Changing technology and so on. But I have smart young people. Most of my employees are less than agencies. So they challenge me a lot on technology and how to really comply with the changing times in business. Wow, it's a mouthful, eh?
Wow, Alex, that is so amazing. You know, Omosh, I'm sitting here and I'm thinking.
Ulikuwa unapiga madhafu?
No, me, I was just doing calculations. I'm thinking, should Chams Media, adapt the one mic show?
I think because inaonekana kwanza hatuna license. Uko na license ya drone?
Your photographer. I did not even know that kind of license existed.
Check, Chams.
Your drone?
Yeah. No, not your drone. That kind of photography that Alex was talking about. That the World Bank
Mnapiga
requires.
kelele, mimi nishaandika business proposal na ipost kwa group huko.
Where? Okay. So, but you know, the reason why we love having these conversations and just letting the guests talk is because this is not even something that we knew. I don't think even most people who watch Daring Abroad know the depth of work that's done outside, like just some of the content that we see on the YouTube channel. So this is quite interesting. And again, I know there's a lot of diasporans who have different kinds of stories that they want featured. I like the fact that you go to places like Kakuma, Uko Turkana, because northern Kenya is like a foreign country. One of my biggest regrets, which I want to correct, is the fact that I have never been to northern Kenya. The farthest north I think I've been is Isiolo, like where I have family. But talking about Turkana, Marsabit, Samburu, sijafika uko. And those are the parts of Kenya.
Mbona zina sound kama Somali?
Wewe.
And the northernmost, nimefika Garissa, but the northernmost parts of northeastern province, Mandera, uko bado sijafika. So I think with Kenya, and especially with the mainstream media, that you also worked for quite a bit there, so you know it better than most of us. The stories are very concentrated within certain parts of Kenya. News is so Nairobi-centric. Once in a while, you're gonna hear a story about something happened in Kisumu or Mombasa, but its things are very narrow and very restricted. And what you said is also very scary. This idea where a politician anakuja, I'm running against Omosh, then I go to a media house and tell a journalist, give them all these negative stories about Omosh because I'm running against him. And we don't know even if brown envelopes may have exchanged hands because mainstream media, whether we like it or not, still has some influence. It still has some very big influence in decisions people make and things people do. So wow, that was quite amazing. Again, the number to call is 202-683-4570. Press *5 to speak. A couple of comments here are coming in while we were having this conversation.
Maybe I can add something.
Yes, go ahead, Alex.
In line with how do you sustain, as I said, and sincerely for me, it's not good to blow your own trumpets and so on.
It's okay. It's okay.
No one is listening.
Naishi very humble life, and I'm not showbiz. Ukiniangalia, even if I'm telling you I'm in business class in Kenya Airways, it's not because I want to feel nice.
Angekuwa ni Omosh.
Yeah.
It
would have been problems.
Hata kama angekuwa amepita hapo wakati amepitisha bathroom. Ana text like selfie.
So I'll be really. It would be something like informing you maybe on that new route and the business class and maybe the advantages or YKQ or this airline ABCD. I don't know how to put it. It will be I'm out to inform and not to show off. I don't like showing off. Secondly is, and then you build networks, you build people who trust you and who want to work with you. Let me tell you, you may be a big celebrity. You may have a big show, but you're scaring off people. People just don't know how to approach you, or they may. I've had situations where people get shocked. Umenisalimia, umepiga picha na mimi nini, they'll spread the word, they'll get me a contact, and then they're like, I was fearing kusalimia, nilifikiri niwe ni kama celebrities wengine utani put off. Let me lead into what I'm saying. So when I was coming here, I met Mama Kayai kwa ndege. We just bumped into each other, and it was en route to Amsterdam.
Oh.
We were both coming to the US, but Mama Kayai was going to a different city, and I was going to Houston. So we really chatted, and I, praised him for being humble, inspiring people. And then she told me, and she was with another artist, that she was coming to the US to receive an award, Excellence Award. These awards were organized by an organization called Myopic Africa Talent. Myopic, it's from the myopic heart, pumping by itself.
Mm-hmm.
The name of myopic.
Yes.
Symbolically. Myogenic, my goodness. What am I saying?
Myopic ni ya miwani.
It's getting late.
Yeah.
Myopic is So myogenic.
Yeah.
Myogenic Africa Talent, supporting artists in Kenya and here in the US. The gentleman behind this is called Solomon Omboto. He used to work in the US Army, but he retired, went back home, but he's never left his spirit of supporting talents. So I didn't know about Solomon Omboto. So when I posted Mama Kayai's photo, I said we bumped into each other. She was going to win an award. Her story went viral. Then I realized, oh my goodness, my Facebook is a whole media. I think the Facebook commenters, well over 300 comments in just 2 weeks. So Solomon looked for me and said, hey, you've made us famous. You've publicized this event even ahead of the event. And many people went to the event. Some people went to the event, quite a big number said they knew about the event through my Facebook post. So guess what? So Solomon looks for me later after the event, and we are collaborating to traverse some cities here in the US, telling his story and the story of building talent. You see, that's a network gotten from my interaction with Mama Kayai in a plane, and he's willing to take us around, and he's even going to attend our forums to share his experience. We're making even our forums richer with a topic on talent promotion. And I'm just expounding on how you can keep going and getting content, and people wondering, kwani how are you managing? It is networks.
Okay. Kwa hivyo si kula matenda. Unajua kuna watu wanasema huyu anakula tenda huyu hapa. Kwa hivyo hiyo si mambo ya tenda hiyo hapo.
But an envelope is almost
where I play golf, boy.
What
do you mean?
Okay, so let me read a few comments here coming in from some of the people who are tuned in. Controm Kenya says, KCB is my favorite bank. You will be lucky to hear from them after numerous calls and emails. Hapo kontra tujakuelewa vizuri. Ebui like describe that. And then hapa Estamulusa ameandika hii hapa Sangarair. I don't know what exactly.
Sangalarire.
Oh.
Okay. Atiangoa?
Amefurahi.
Okay. Aya. Jerry Wainaina anasema ati mtakula in kind. Cham salams from Kenya Marikani TV. Okay. And then Afro-Jamaican Kaiser Soze says, I need to register 2 borders. I can't transfer as visitors. E-citizens are not allowed. I can register the company and pay for the bikes, but I can't register for an NTSA account. So my bikes are just parked for 2 years. Hopefully they are parked. Okay. Good luck,
wow.
Afro-Jamaican.
Atakuta ziko parked na zina 100,000 miles.
Alafu Nancy Miroti hapa anasema love the honesty. Do a story on Polly Rungu. Nancy, tell us who Polly is. Give us, a link, an idea. Give Alex Chamwada an idea of who she is. And then Nancy says, you deserve it. The problem with us African is always thinking that talking about your experience is a show-off. it is not. Be okay in being you. And then hapa Sambaza Stephen Bati anasema your genre of stories productions has always steered away from political conversations spaces. Is that intentional or something you would look into in the future? So that's a question from Sambaza. Maybe just briefly address, I know you mentioned about politics, but in a brief minute, maybe just address what Sambaza said, because that's a very interesting take. Alex.
Yeah. First, let me appreciate Mkenya Marekani, always a very valuable contact for us in Seattle. Mkenya Marekani, asante sana. Unfortunately, this time round, hatujapanga Seattle, tumekuja huko mara mingi sana. Tutapanga wakati mwingine. And always a pleasure working with you. Mkenya Marekani is a content creator as well. You are doing an amazing job. About the bank, I think that it's for the bank to answer. And then politics, yes, as I said, I veered off covering politics. I was a top political reporter in Kenya, but it has its challenges. It is, in my view, let me just be honest, it's not tangible as telling the story of Omosh and One Mike. It's politics can, as it sounds, it's politics, and you. For me, I don't find it inspiring. Let me be honest and say, politics, you are likely to find lies. So I don't want to use my power, my microphone, my head to tell lies. So it's likely to be about lies, propaganda, dishonesty, all those. That's politics for you. And that's why it's called politics. And that's how they thrive. You have to play politics to survive in politics. I'm a business person, so I'm in business. When you're in business and you mix with politics, you are likely to run into trouble. You are likely to be misunderstood. So I'll give you an example. You know, the top politician visiting US. So if saying then I've been doing politics, I'm likely to be perceived to have followed that politician, and that's why I'm here. So people will understand I'm not part of that, and I'm doing my business. We are doing our stuff. So when you mix politics, you are likely to be misunderstood, even when you mean well. So that's an example. The other thing then, people perceive you. So for example, you may do something political, you appease a half of Kenya, and the half of Kenya are not happy with you. It means when I'm bringing you a beautiful story about infrastructure in Japan, that a half that doesn't like me will perceive it differently. So I've lost that half. But when I do what I'm doing, I can assure you, if Omosh, you are Chama A and Ali Chama B, and maybe you even clash. But when my story comes, you'll watch together without any problem. And even when it ends, both of you will say, wow, did you watch that? So my content unites people. Basically, it's to run business, because politics will interfere with my business. That's the main reason.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Wow. Very interesting. And I love the way sometimes people who are in journalism, they use words like top politician visiting the US, senior government official working in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. I like those words, but quite interesting. Politics can be very toxic. We sometimes cover, political issues on this show. And I think it was last week someone said, because last week we're doing a different kind of topic. Someone said, we appreciate this break from Kenya's toxic politics. The sad part is that, unfortunately, this politics is what determines a lot of things that people are doing, which is now getting us to the next part of the conversation.